So it's almost a month since I finished a book. The slump is slumping and this video is going to get me out of it, I am sure. That's a problem for later. There is a chance that your favorite character is going to die in fantasy books.
Scream or cry, throw up. I don't even know if I want to keep reading. I'm not happy about it, but it also makes other things possible.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name is Tanisha and I love taking you along on my reading journey. And in today's video, I'm using a new camera. I'm so excited to finally have a camera. I used to film all my videos just on my phone with a little microphone, but I thought why not treat myself with a big girl camera. So if the audio is weird or the visuals are out of focus, just let me get used to my camera, because once this camera and I are besties, the quality of my videos are going to be so good. Enough about the camera. In today's video, I'm going to try and get out of a reading slump. I have not finished a book since March 26th, and it is April 23rd. So it's almost a month since I finished a book. I got up at the end of March for this March TBR video that I did. I loved the book. I finished it. And then I started a new book the day after. I actually started a reading vlog for that book, but somehow it was just not vibing with me. I didn't hate the book, but I just felt like this is not the time for me to read this specific book. So I soft DNF'd the book. I'm going to read it again when I feel like reading that story. And that was only a few days before Fearless by Lauren Roberts was going to come out. So I thought, why not just wait till Fearless comes out, because that was a very highly anticipated book for me, and just use that book to get out of the slump. Well, the book has been out for 2 weeks and I have read like 25%. I like the book, but I'm just not in a reading mood, which is very sad because I love reading, I love making videos. I was in a very good flow with making reading vlogs, but this reading slump has just put me down. I was not motivated to film anything just because I wanted to make reading vlogs, but I was not reading. And that is where this video comes in, because in this video I wanted to do like a how much do I read in a week vlog. But since I am in a reading slump, I think it is best to make it more of a mood reading vlog, where I try to get out of the slump. I just checked and I'm 30% into the book, not 25. I have been reading this book for 2 weeks now and I'm not even halfway. The slump is slumping and this video is going to get me out of it, I am sure. I really hope so. So yeah, grab a drink and watch me get out of this reading slump. Excuse this little angle that I'm doing. This is the best lighting right now because it is turning dark. I noticed myself looking at the red light instead of in the lens, so sorry if I'm not looking you in the eyes. I promise you I don't hate you. I'm just getting used to filming with the camera. I have read a couple more pages and I thought it would be best to talk a little bit about what I think about the book so far. This is the third book in the trilogy, so I am completely invested into the plot. I know all the characters, I know most of the matching system, so it doesn't take me a lot of energy to get back into the story, even though I have not been reading this book for days now. I loved the first book in the series. I ate it up in 2 or 3 days. I could not stop reading. I was so invested in the story. I was invested in the banter between the main characters, and that book ended with a cliffhanger. I read the second book not too long ago, actually in my 24 hours of reading vlog, I think. So if you're interested in my thoughts about the second book, you can watch that. But spoiler alert, I didn't love the book. It was very much the middle child of this trilogy. There was a lot of repeating of the same plot. I didn't hate my reading experience, but I fully believe that the second book was completely unnecessary, and I have seen people talk about this trilogy being able to be a duology, if that makes sense. Like, if you take the main points from the second book and just put it in front of this book, you would probably still have the same effect even though you don't have a second full book. There is a novella between the first book and the second book which takes place at the same time of the first book, and I love that book as well. So it's not Lauren Roberts writing. I think it's just the plot that is kind of boring me in the second book. The third book, however, the plot is much better than the second book, and I am very invested in the story just because I have spent a lot of time with the characters. I care about them, so I do like the plot. I think I don't know if it is a good sign that I can just put the book down for days on end and then read a couple of pages and then put the book down again. And obviously I can also blame my reading slump, but a good book should be able to get you out of a reading slump, and this book is not doing it right now. I'm still going to try and read as much of this book today and tomorrow, but if I'm not fully back into reading tomorrow, I'm just going to soft DNF this book and read another book, but that's a problem for later. I feel like I've not been making sense, and I'm so sorry. I'm really trying here. You know, I'm just a girl who reads her silly little books, and I just decided to film them and put them online, and some people like them. So yeah, anyway, I am going to continue reading now. Almost 50% into the book. I think I'm around 46% in, so super close to halfway. I'm getting into the story more and more. I really feel like putting the book down after a few pages every time really hurt my reading experience. So I'm very glad that I'm pushing myself now to read for longer periods of time. I can't tell you what I'm reading about because this is the last book in the trilogy, so everything that happens in this book, even the plot of this book, is the biggest spoiler ever for all the other books, so I can't tell you anything about it. But the stakes are high. There is a quest that is happening. It's dangerous. You're constantly thinking about, are these people that I love going to die? Because that happens in fantasy books. It is not like a romance book where you know that there is definitely going to be a happy ever after. There is a chance that your favorite character is going to die in fantasy books, and that is always a very scary thought. So I hope that everyone that I care about stays alive, but we'll see. The plot I'm reading about is very interesting. It is similar to the plot in the first book, but the stakes are higher, and it also doesn't feel like a repetition at all. Like, the plot is similar, but it is done in a very good way, which makes it still interesting even though you remember everything that happened in book 1. So those are my thoughts for now. I'm going to take a little break from reading, but I am hopefully going to do some more reading later.
The last time we spoke, it was Wednesday. Today is Friday. So I didn't talk to you yesterday, but I did read. So let's talk about my thoughts so far. I'm 55% into the book, so I have not made a ton of progress, but I did make some progress. So one thing I've noticed is that I'm getting a lot of background information from one of the characters that you don't know a lot about. It is a character that you have never read from, like in terms of point of view. The first book, you get two point of views. You get Peyton's point of view, who is the female main character, and you get the male main character's point of view. His name is Kai. In the second book, you get a third set of point of view from a character that you meet in the first book, and you spend a lot of time with that character, so you already know like bunch about. The third book, however, drops that third POV and replaced it with another POV from a character that you have never spent time with, that you have spent time with this character, but always like in third person. It is also always from people's point of views where this character is not very liked. So you don't know anything about what this character is like. You don't know anything about their thought process, stuff like that. But now you get this whole point of view in the past, and it's also written in third person. So the entire series is written in first person, but this new point of view is written in third person, which is very different from the rest of the book, and it also makes you want to pay attention. But I also think it is a very good artistic choice the author has made to write about this person in third person, just because the distance between the reader and this character is so far that it is very fitting that we don't get to spend time in their head. I am very invested in the book. I am going to try and finish the book today because I really want to read other books, but I'm having a lot of fun finishing this series. Are you kidding me? This better be a fucking joke. Please tell me it is fake. I don't know if I want to scream or cry, throw up. Let's just say that any emotion that I'm feeling right now is not good. I don't even know if I want to keep reading. I might just stop it here and pretend this didn't happen. 65% in. If you know, you know. I'm 80% into the book right now, and I just found out about a plot that I guessed maybe 35% into the book, so pretty quickly. And even though the story and the plot has been crafted very well, I still don't like the fact that I was able to guess it with so little information. So yeah, I'm still enjoying the book, but I just wanted to talk about this thing. I'm not happy about it, but it also makes other things possible, which I am happy about. So it is a little bit of a So I finished Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and this was the perfect ending to this trilogy. I enjoyed every second that I was reading this book, even though it took me weeks to finish. That's obviously because of the reading slump. I ended up rating this book 3.5 stars, and I honestly think that it would be a solid 4 stars if it didn't take me weeks to finish, because I really think that taking weeks to read the story really hurt the pacing of the story, because there's a lot of information that you learn at the beginning of the book that are really important later on in the story. And I really think it would have hit me more if the time between learning the information and seeing how it plays out was less time, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was the perfect ending to this trilogy. I did not expect what was going to happen like 90% into the book. The beginning of the book was kind of a bit slow, but once the plot of the last book started, the pacing really picked up very nicely. Especially the last 40-ish% of this book was so good. I wish the second book had the same tension as this book, because I enjoyed myself so much. I'm kind of sad that this is the end of this universe. I have read somewhere that there is going to be a novella to conclude the whole story, but this book doesn't have a open ending. So I think the novella is more about questions that you might have reading the trilogy that are not resolved yet. But I have all the closure that I needed reading this book. So even though I'm happy that there is going to be a novella, because I love this universe and I would love to read more about it, it is not necessary to get closure or to wrap up the story. The first book in the trilogy is still my favorite. So if you have been wanting to start this trilogy, please do, because it is so much fun. I'm not 100% sure, obviously, if my reading slump is now over, but the fact that I finished a book since a month, because today is April 26th and the last book that I finished was March 26th. So it took me an entire month to finish another book after the last book that I read. So I feel like I'm making progress in this reading slump. With that being said, thank you for watching. Comment down below what series you want me to start next. And I will see you in my next video whenever I post it. Bye!